Cartoon characters are a source of nostalgia for many of us. These fun-loving, colorful creations come in many forms, from talking animals to fictional monsters and even cars. But have you ever wondered what they'd look like in human form? Don't switch over yet, because I'm about to show you. Amazing! Ice Age. First up, let's take a look at SHREK, the charismatic saber-toothed squirrel from the Ice Age franchise who couldn't give a damn about the melting ice caps and impending mass extinction, just as long as he stockpiled as many acorns as possible. Talented Russian illustrator Ashtik Rakimova had a go at reimagining the accident-prone critter as a human, and this is what she came up with. What do you think? The lovable little creature looks more like a deranged hobo who's been trapped on the ice for 40 years. I shudder to think what happened to the real Scrat for him to get those awfully lifelike furs. Kung Fu Panda. Scrat isn't the only cartoon character Ashtik has transformed with her talented artistic eye. Kung Fu Panda is one of the most popular animated series to come from DreamWorks in the past decade, and Jack Black's electric performance as the sheepish panda turned dragon warrior makes it all the more entertaining. According to Ashtik's interpretation of the Kung Fu hero, human POOH isn't exactly a spitting image of Jack Black. Nevertheless, the resemblance to the original character is so uncanny, it's as if POOH has unzipped his fur, and this overweight bald dude just stepped right out. Penguins of Madagascar. In every animated movie, there's a side character who steals the show. In Madagascar, that was definitely the penguins. Illustrator Halpin posted this rendition of the gang on DeviantArt, which reimagines them as real-life spies. Even as humans, their individual personalities still shine through. Skipper is definitely still running the show, and Little Private is just happy to be included. Finding Nemo. Finding Nemo is a true cult classic, and it would be nothing without the dynamic friendship between paternal clownfish Marlin and the ever-endearing Dory. Check out this human transformation of the duo by DeviantArt user SuperCute. The attention to detail is really impressive, from their appropriately colored clothes to the shape of Dory's head. And this has to be the moment the pair spotted that terrifying anglerfish. 3D illustrator Daria Kuznetsova has also produced this realistic drawing of what the cast would look like if they grew legs and stepped onto dry land. Little Nemo has a crutch in reference to his adorable Lucky Fin, and they've definitely nailed those glazed over eyes on Dory's face as she tries to remember the iconic dentist's address. Kuznetsova also turned the wise Moorish idlefish Gil into a suave businessman. This is one old guy you certainly wouldn't want to mess with. Zootopia. Although Disney's Zootopia, or Zootropolis if you're from the UK, was only released in 2016, it's already destined to become a future classic. The stars of the show are definitely the unlikely partners in crime Nick and Judy, and Canadian digital artist Sakimi-chan has created this adorable portrait to show what they might look like in human form. While they clearly champion the possible romance between the characters, this 3D rendering of the bunny cop Judy Hopps by artist Blair Armitage stays truer to her fierce feminist independence. The DMV scene has got to be the funniest moment in Zootopia, and those sloths definitely deserve their own spinoff, although it would probably be about 10 hours long. Ashtik Rakimova has recreated the iconic scene in human form, and she's definitely nailed the frustration on Judy's face. Although if Flash the Sloth did exist in real life, I'm pretty sure he'd look a little more like this. Looney Tunes. The Looney Tunes are some of the oldest cartoons out there, and iconic characters from Bugs Bunny to Roadrunner have been entertaining kids since 1930. Artist and film student Marcel Salick went all out and created humanized versions of the entire classic cast, and they're so spot on you might not even notice the difference at first. Taz somehow looks just as feral as he is in animal form, and I love how Bugs' hands, feet, and teeth and Roadrunner's hair make them instantly recognizable. Sakimi-chan also gave the tunes the once-over with this lifelike digital painting of Bugs Bunny. With that skin-tight three-piece carrot cocktail and chain-link belt, this certainly seems more 50 Shades than kid cartoon. Especially if this version featuring Lola Bunny is anything to go by. Sakimi-chan's reimagining of Lola is definitely all grown up. Speaking of, have you ever noticed just how much Natalie Dormer looks like Space Jam's sultry female rabbit? Winnie the Pooh. The Looney Tunes aren't the only ones to get the Marcel Salek treatment, as the artist also created this adorable humanized version of the beloved Winnie the Pooh cast. Suddenly, Christopher Robin blends right in with his animal chums, who are easily identifiable by their clothes and their distinctive shapes. I guess this settles the debate over Piglet's true gender, and I can't be the only one who thinks Eeyore might have been self-medicating for his depression, judging by that suspicious look on his face. Pinky and the Brain. Most 90s kids will probably remember Pinky and the Brain, and with 66 episodes in total between 1995 and 1998, we never grew tired of watching Brain's plans to overthrow the Earth come tumbling down again and again, mostly due to Pinky's foolishness. DeviantArt user Wonder Dookie has dreamed up this humanized version of the caged lab rats, which definitely shows just how polar opposite they are. According to the artist, humanized Brain is an evil university professor who's been lumped with a slightly simple teaching assistant named Pinky. To me, human Pinky looks more like one of those woke surfer dudes you'd find down on the Australian coast. Cars. Who'd have thought talking cartoon vehicles would cause such a storm? Still, Disney has managed to churn out 3 successful Cars movies since 2006, which followed the secret lives of the colorful driverless engines. It takes a real skilled eye to imagine 4-wheeled vehicles as 2-legged humans, yet digital artist Jay of Artistica has produced this incredible reimagining of the enigmatic cast. Lightning McQueen definitely looks like a winner compared to his rusty sidekick Mater, but the real star has to be the human forklift Guido. He's so tiny. In case you were wondering how the original Cars are able to think and speak, check out this horrifying sketch. You can't unsee it now. SpongeBob. SpongeBob is one of the most universally loved and long-running cartoons, with over 250 episodes to boot since its original debut in 1999. The reality of a talking sea sponge, a land-dwelling squirrel in a spacesuit, and a piece of plankton with a computer for a wife is actually pretty hilarious. But how would these larger-than-life characters translate out of water? Take a look at this humanized SpongeBob by Ashtik Rakimova. Pretty neat, right? By sticking to an accurate color palette and cartoonish style, this human sea sponge looks like he could be from a long-lost episode. Rakimova has definitely managed to make him look like a total dweeb too, and you can almost hear that irritating laugh. Another Russian illustrator, 17-year-old Polly, or Polachka, has taken a different approach to the SpongeBob cast by turning them into doll-eyed teens worthy of a Japanese spin-off series. SpongeBob still looks like a total nerd, but Patrick seems like a pretty cool guy to hang out with, while Sandy and Pearl have been transformed into total babes. Money-grabbing Mr. Krabs is eerily spot on too, but I have to say Squidward's nose isn't nearly big enough. Unless this is supposed to be the handsome version. Polachka even went the extra mile by humanizing Karen. Now I see why Plankton chose to marry a machine. Futurama. Futurama might have one of the most eclectic and confusing casts of non-human cartoon characters, but Daria Kuznetsova has managed to humanize them in this digital painting. Well, kinda. Kuznetsova has done wonders for Fry's disturbing overhanging lip, but the diaper-clad Lord Nibbler suddenly looks a whole lot more terrifying. It seems like Leela would still only have one giant eye if she were reincarnated in human form, and somehow arcing one giant eyebrow is one impressive party trick. Ursula. The Little Mermaid is a heartfelt coming-of-age story with some classic romance thrown in for good measure. But it would be nothing without Ursula, the baddest sea witch in all of the ocean. Melissa McCarthy has already been cast as the devious villainess in the upcoming live-action movie, alongside Halle Bailey as Ariel. But what would she really look like IRL? Chilean digital illustrator and character designer Fernanda Suarez created this ridiculously badass human Ursula. From her seashell jewelry to her poor unfortunate souls tattoo, maybe Melissa McCarthy should start taking some notes. Although Ursula was destroyed at the end of the 1989 movie, some people think she may have been resurrected on land. In the courtroom. According to some eagle-eyed Twitter users, the Ukraine judge Alla Bandura seems to have stolen Ursula's look from the harsh makeup down to the white beehive. What do you think? Cruella de Vil. Disney has some of the most iconic female villains in the cartoon universe, and who could forget about the fur-obsessed heiress Cruella de Vil? Plenty of people have tried to emulate her IRL, from Victoria Smurfit to Iggy Azalea. In the movies and cartoons, this tyrannical chain-smoking woman definitely seems like she's got a screw or two loose. But thanks to this digital painting by Fernanda Suarez, her real-world counterpart certainly looks like one fierce lady. Anyone else getting the Devil Wears Prada vibes? Jessie. The uber-talented Fernanda Suarez has tackled a whole host of beloved cartoon characters that are definitely worth a look. Check out her reimagining of Jessie from Toy Story. She's turned the childhood doll into, well, a total doll. The equestrian tattoo and bracelet are a subtle nod to her cowboy roots, and you could totally see finding this girl working on a horse ranch somewhere in California. Maybe Jessie has already experienced a Pinocchio-like transformation though, as some have pointed out the uncanny resemblance between the cartoon cowgirl and actress Elle Fanning. The Lion King. The 2019 live-action remake of Lion King was a roaring success as filmmakers chose to create detailed 3D animals rather than casting actors or creating horrific human-animal hybrids like the Cats remake. Still, plenty of talented artists have imagined what the four-legged cast might look like if they had two legs. Sakimi-chan has definitely taken a racier route with her humanized versions of Simba and Scar, which look like they might have stepped out of an R-rated fanfiction. The ears, teeth, and nails suggest that maybe these guys aren't exactly human after all. Anyone else think they look like the Na'vi people from Avatar without the blue skin? This recreation of Simba and Nala by talented Tumblr artist Soliana is definitely more PG, and it's cool to see her sticking to their African roots with a little bit of inspirational flair from the stage musical. #Rakamova has also created this version of the loved-up felines, which has captured their expressions perfectly, and it's definitely interesting to see Nala as a blonde. This could definitely be from an unseen animation locked up in the Disney vault. Timon and Pumbaa have to be the most memorable characters in the movie, and Rakamova has reimagined them as some pretty cool dudes. Their expressions are still unmistakable, but these guys look more at home at the local GameStop than in the Pride Lands. This version by Fernando Mendoza is just as endearing, but Pumbaa isn't fooling anyone. There's definitely still a warthog under that mustache. Finally, the crazed hyena trios Shenzi, Bonsai, and Ed were enough to give us nightmares as little kids, and this human version by illustrator Puglets is no less terrifying. SHREK. Many believe that DreamWorks is yet to top SHREK. 4 installments may have been overkill, but the Green Ogre and his donkey sidekick defined the early 2000s and continue to live on in the hearts of many. In the second movie, Shrek was already briefly turned into a human, who looked oddly like Billy from Stranger Things, while Donkey became a handsome stallion. Thanks to #Rakamova, we can now imagine what would have happened if Donkey had been humanized by the potion instead. He might not be the spitting image of Eddie Murphy, but somehow this transformation makes total sense regardless. Which of these cartoon transformations do you think was most spot on? And are there any other characters you'd like to see in human form? Let me know in the comments below, and thanks for watching.